Welcome back. The latest on Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Well, members of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group have met at Ramstein Air Base in Germany. The defense ministers talks with the main focus of the meeting being whether Germany will allow the supply to Ukraine of its Leopard 2 tanks used by armies across Europe. Berlin has veto power over any decision to export the tanks, and Chancellor Olaf Scholz's government has appeared reluctant to authorize that for fear of provoking Russia. The Kremlin reiterated that Western countries supplying tanks to Ukraine will not change the course of the conflict, but would add to the problems of the Ukrainian people. Some allies, along with Ukraine, say Germany's concern is misplaced, with Russia already fully committed to war. A German military source said later that Germany had yet to receive a request from any country for permission to re-export German-made Leopard tanks to Ukraine. Well, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, giving a statement at the sidelines of the conference of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group, says that allies need to focus on ammunition and maintenance to support Ukraine, and that Germany is among those allies that are providing most support to Ukraine.
And in addition to new platforms, we need also to remember that we need to not only focus on new platforms, but also to ensure that all the platforms which are already there can function as they should, meaning that we need ammunition, we need spare parts, we need maintenance, and we need training.
However, for German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius, he was also speaking at Ramstein, the U.S. air base. He said it's wrong to say Germany is blocking Leopard tank deliveries to Ukraine, and that there are good reasons for and against, adding that he says we don't fear anything when asked, and this is when asked about the possible Russian retaliation.
50 countries have stepped up to help Ukraine defend itself and deter future threats. When Putin launched his reckless and unprovoked invasion 11 months ago, he thought that Ukraine would just collapse.
Well, that was Mr. Lloyd Austin on that issue as well. Russia has said that relations with the United States were at an all-time low, dismissing the idea the two sides could turn things around halfway through U.S. President Joe Biden's term in office. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters that bilateral relations are probably at their lowest point historically, but unfortunately there is no hope for improvement in the foreseeable future. Already, poor U.S.-Russia ties became even more strained last year when Russia sent troops into Ukraine February 2022, prompting Washington and its allies to respond with a barrage of sanctions against Russia's economy. The U.S. has also provided Kyiv with substantial economic and military support, drawing condemnation from Russian officials who have accused Washington of playing a direct role in the conflict. While there have been occasional diplomatic successes, including prisoner swaps involving U.S. Marine veteran Trevor Reed and basketball star Brittany Griner, high-level contact has been scarce. U.S.-Russia talks on resuming inspections under the New START nuclear arms limitation treaty were called off at the last minute in November, while the Kremlin has played down the idea of face-to-face talks between Biden and President Vladimir Putin, who last met in person in Geneva, June 2021. In Belarusian television, an official news outlet of the country's defense ministry has aired footage of the joint Russian-Belarusian Air Force drills taking place in Belarus. The video shows military jets being loaded with missiles on an airfield set to be in Baranivchi, 150 kilometers west of the Belarusian capital, Minsk. Belarus has said the two-week Air Force drills that began January 16 are of a defensive nature to prepare for possible combat missions, but the move comes as concerns grow that Moscow is pushing Minsk to join the conflict in Ukraine. The Kremlin, though, has denied that it has been pressuring Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko to take a more active role in the conflict in Ukraine. A Ukrainian serviceman has raised a new Ukrainian flag on top of Bakhmut airplane monument to commemorate the city's enduring resilience against the Russian forces. The flag was decorated with Instagram profiles of volunteers who worked in Bakhmut, evacuating residents and also delivering humanitarian aid. Bakhmut's airplane monument, located at the entrance to the city, has come to symbolize the challenging defense of the city amid heavy fighting between the Ukrainian and Russian forces. Before climbing on top of the plane to raise the flag, Ukrainian serviceman expressed his confidence in the long-standing defense. Bakhmut has been the front line of the Ukraine war for almost a year, with both sides suffering heavy losses. Germany's Foreign Intelligence Service reported concerns for Ukrainian losses against Russian forces today, while Russia claimed control of Klishchivka, a small settlement south of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine.